And we're back here live on the Stogie Geek Show. Monday, April 21st, Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop will be hosting another cigar dinner at Milanzi's. This event will be first come, first serve. Even 35 guests max due to seating. Tickets will be $50 and will include a gourmet meal and 3 premium cigars. So they're up in the ante. You get more food, more cigars for $50, and I'm not sure who April 21st will be. This past Monday, though, we recorded some footage of Mr. Robert Wright from Pura Soul Cigars, one of the brands under CLE. So look for a video coming soon to the Stogie Geeks video channels. I also want to mention a couple of our other sponsors, of course, Debonair Cigars, StogieGeeks.com/Debonair for a list of retailers. Again, May 4th is the New Jersey Cigar Festival, NJCigarFestival.com. Mr. Phil Zanke will be there. And I've spoken with a couple of a lot of great feedback about the Debonair cigars, which I'm very happy. I loved Debonair since the first time I started smoking them, and we're thrilled to have them on as a sponsor. So make sure you go check out StogieGeeks.com/Debonair. Don't be afraid to call Mr. J Havana Smoke Shop as well. I don't have the number in front of me, but you can call him up. Stogie Santa works there and order your Debonair cigars. They're just every single one I smoke. Everyone has their favorites. I tell you what, that guy doesn't make a bad cigar in that Debonair line for sure. And there's more to come from Mr. Phil Zanke. So make sure you stay tuned here for the Stogie Geek Show to get more information about Debonair cigars. And, of course, the Havana Cigar Club has got a whole bunch of stuff going on. They've got the San Latano The Bull in stock, which I've heard some people talking about, which is awesome. They hold Hilo Jack and Texas Hold'em as well, so they're right next door to us. And make sure this Sunday at the Masters with food from Jay Gray's, the cost will be $20 and will include food and a cigar. I was wondering what fell down there. Sausage and peppers and chicken and pasta. Can't beat that. Check out Havana Cigar Club. You can find a link on the StogieGeeks.com website. Will, did you want to update us on? You don't want to update us on a contest yet. You want to talk about the Stogies of the Week first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just first of all go around the horn and
good call.
Kind of touch base on our Don Knott. I'm getting towards the end of mine.
I'm ready to pull mine. I'm ready to open my envelope.
I think I'm ready to open mine too. I'm at the nub here.
Will, why don't you go first? I'm gonna finish off my cigar and see if I can pick up any flavors on that.
I had no clue, but I'm gonna take a stab and I'm gonna say it's the Nat Sherman 1930.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm opening the envelope, and I couldn't be more wrong. Wow, and I haven't had this cigar in about 4 years, and I can't believe it is the Frank Lianza 1961, and I remember when these came out.
Nice.
This is the.
I hadn't heard of that cigar before.
What that was it's an Altadas cigar, and it came out about 5 years ago, and it was a cigar, the late Frank Lianza blender. Here's why it completely fooled me. I knew it is a Dominican blend, but the strength I remember when that came out was just a powerhouse, and this thing, obviously with some age, really sold it. This is a beautiful smoke. I don't know if people can see the band there, but this is a cigar. I remember when it came out. They actually did the world premiere of this cigar in Charlotte on the Cigar Dave show.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but I happened to be there for that. So
nice.
And I remember when it came out and it was hot out, and this started really hit me. It was a good cigar, but wow.
Yeah, powerhouse.
Great cigar. Don, A1. That was. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to get some more of these.
Mark Jr., over to you.
My cigar, right past the halfway point, that chocolate that I started to, the cocoa powder that I alluded to, really picked up, and it became an overall sweetness in the cigar, which was a nice change up from the beginning, because like I said, the beginning was a little bit of a spicy number. So I don't have much of a guess here either. So I'm just going to open it.
There you go. Oh, look at that.
It was an Ashton VSG.
Hold it up for your camera over there, yeah.
You know, I probably should have known that.
You probably should have.
Because of the box press, and you know, I love these cigars. And
we smoked a lot of the Ashton
sure
VSG blend.
I'm pretty sure it was a Robusto. Now that I'm thinking, now that I know this, because of I've smoked a ton of these, and I love them. Don Knott, thank you very much.
Can't go wrong with Ashton
for
VSG.
Getting me back into a VSG. This is sort of one of those cigars I don't reach to a lot because it's something that we've.
Because it's such regular production, we've talked about it. We tend not to smoke as many. Yeah, no,
but
I agree.
This is a winner in my book. Thank you very much, Don.
Mine had a very nice toasty kind of flavor. It's interesting. Both you guys described that chocolatey flavor. I didn't quite get chocolate. Maybe a hints of espresso. In my not quite that chocolatey flavor. It was very well balanced, and it was very smooth towards the end, towards the nub right here. You know, it's picking up in intensity. I have to say this, to me, presented that kind of Nicaraguan flavor profile. I don't have any guesses as to what it would be. The best I'll say is Nicaragua. It could have Nicaraguan or Honduran. And mine was a CAO Brasilia. CAO Brasilia.
I love that.
Yeah,
it was always smoked.
It was a very enjoyable smoke. You know, like I said, I didn't get a lot of those chocolatey flavors, but more of the espresso quality. Which I think would you associate that with this blend, Will, or am I way off on that one?
No, I definitely, it's the espresso quality. I wonder if were you smoking, how big was your ring gauge?
It was about a 52 ring gauge, and it was maybe a 5.5 by 52 would be my guess.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's not the gold. The gold, I used to smoke the 5 by 56s, a lot of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Brasilia, I've always liked the Brasilia by CAO.
Yeah, it no, it's a Brazilian wrapper, right? Hence the Brasilia. Araparaca. Yeah. It definitely had that little bit of twang to it, which is kind of got me thinking Nicaraguan. But the Brazilian wrapper did really well. It was an enjoyable smoke. Like I said, smooth and balanced. So if you're gonna, CAO is one of those ones you're gonna reach for certain ones. The cigar geeks in us, there are some definite lines in CAO that are, I think, the cigar geeks will really, really appreciate and don't often reach for, right? But I also think CAO makes a lot of those brands that you could give to anyone and they're gonna enjoy the cigar kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I have to say, I used to smoke a lot of them too, like Coop said.
They were red hot.
Yep.
No, like you said, Coop, I used to smoke a lot of those. They were.
Yeah, I mean, that really was my introduction to Araparaca. Really, that's when I started smoking.
I do also have to say about the one that I smoked, that definitely had a little bit of age on it, in my opinion, because it was very smooth. It didn't have any harshness whatsoever. So just wanted to point that out on the CAO Brasilia. Thank you very much to listener Don Knott, who gave us individually unbanded cigars, which is just awesome.
I couldn't be happier with it. This was an excellent cigar, frankly.
Stogie Santa couldn't be here, but we're going to give Stogie Santa his cigar and look for that on a future episode about his Don. We'll call it the Don Knott Unbanded. How's that?
And thanks for the listeners who take the time to do this. I mean, we don't ask
thank
for
you
this
so
certainly,
much.
but we really you don't know how much we appreciate it.
Yeah,
and we're glad to do that.
Much appreciated. Well, I'm going to go to you first.
All right. I have some pretty good smokes this week. I'm going to start off with the Room 101 Master Collection 2, the Roxo. I know we've talked about the Master Collection 1 on the show, and the Master Collection 1 got a lot of high praise from people. And I liked it. I liked the Master Collection 1. I wasn't blown away by it. The Master Collection 2, I've been going through these, and I've really, really enjoyed this line. This has a Criollo wrapper, which I'm assuming it's Honduras, but they don't disclose that. It's got a Honduran binder, and it's got Nicaraguan and Honduran filler. It comes in all the same size as the Master Collection 2 as the Master Collection 1, but it's a completely different blend. The Roxo is a 4x48. Now, I've smoked other Vitolas in this, and of the 5 in here, I'd probably put this third in the pecking order behind the Lancero. The Mutante is probably the best, and then the Succio, which is a Churchill, is probably the second best. But this is right up there. This is a very good cigar. What I love about this cigar, and it has this lemongrass flavor to it. I get this throughout all the Master Collection 2 cigars. It's a real constant throughout those lines. There's notes of black pepper, wood, cedar, earth. It's a medium to full-bodied cigar. It's not a powerhouse. It's going to be about medium in strength. Well constructed. I give it a box split. Like I said, I'd probably go box worthy for the Mutantes, which are the Lanceros. But this one, the Master Collection 2 seems to have flown under the radar a little more than Master Collection 1. And I'm telling people, check this one out. It's real good.
Excellent.
Nice. I'm excited to try it, Coop. I really like the Master Collection 1. I thought it was good.
This is a completely different cigar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that same quality. I guess they're using, this is supposedly their premium line is what they're doing with the Master Collections.
Mark Jr., over to you.
The first cigar I smoked was a Davidoff Millennium Blend, Petit Corona. I was inspired to smoke this actually because I was talking about them with a listener of ours at that Robert Wright event. He was sharing with me how much he loved the Lancero, so I had shared with him that this is my favorite size, and then I went home and I consequently smoked one. I'm not the big fan of Davidoff that you are, Paul. But I have to say, the special blends that they have, the Millennium, the Colorado Claro, now the Nicaraguan, I find to be very exceptional cigars.
Again, I think appeals to the cigar geek in us.
Yeah, I think these are exceptional. This is a 4.5 by 41 Petit Corona. It's got an Ecuadorian hybrid wrapper and Dominican binder and filler. It has some Dominican Ligero, which sort of separates it from the other Davidoff stuff. It has quite a bit more kick than your average Davidoff. I thought this had some nice red pepper, spice, wood. The construction on these are time in and time out perfect. This is box worthy. It's not an inexpensive cigar by any stretch of the imagination, but I still think it's worthy of that.
I think the Millennium Blend in general is box worthy.
I agree.
Because of the aging potential, right? I mean, if you get a whole box of those,
they do age
they're
really
they're
well.
expensive, so you're not going to smoke one every day, right? It's not your everyday smoking cigar for most of us. They have to conform to some kind of budget, right? If I was Warren Buffett, maybe I'd smoke a Davidoff every day, right? But I'm not, so I got you got to watch the budget. But it's one that if you smoke a sampling of their line in the Millennium Blend of their different sizes, and you find one that you really like, it's a great investment in a box. Don't smoke one every day. Smoke one every once in a while, and as they age, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. And they got some good aging potential to them. Davidoff typically gets the reputation of having a mild cigar, but now you look at the Millennium Blend and you look at the Nicaraguan, those are stronger cigars in comparison to the rest of the Davidoff line, right?
Yep.
So
no, I would even go as far to say that the Millennium's it's got body to it.
It does.
It's not,
yeah.
It's not a mild cigar by any stretch of the imagination.
I smoked a Don Carlos Anniversario. This is the one that has the 2007 on the secondary band. It's a Robusto size cigar, and I have to say some of the ones I've lit up before have had a tighter draw than you typically find in a Fuente stick, which is uncommon across their line. But this one that I lit up had a perfect draw and construction. It was impeccable, and the flavors were just unbelievable. And I kind of lit this up, and I was doing other things on a conference call and working and all that stuff. And I almost wish I hadn't. I wish I had kind of paid more attention to it because the flavors were very complex, and it had the, if you look at the flavor wheel, it had some of that citrus. It had, a little bit of earth and some spice, and it was just all over the flavor wheel from start to finish with this cigar. Absolutely fantastic. This could, in my mind, demand that $30 roughly price tag that these carry in their Robusto size. The ones that say 2006 on the band, I think notoriously are better, even better than this one.
I've found
that's
that
possible,
to be the case.
right?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, this 2007, and I don't know if it's because of age or whatnot, just performed impeccably. And I was really, really, really impressed with it, so much so that I would buy more. This to me, let's take price off the table. If they all smoked like this, I'd want a box of these in my humidor, right? You throw that $30 price tag out there, and you may be talking about 5 or 10, and maybe you're splitting that with someone as well.
It comes in boxes of 10, if I'm not mistaken.
And still, a box of 10 is $300.
No,
which,
of course.
I mean, that's a big investment, right?
Yeah.
So, I think considered price. If they come in boxes of 10, I would say split a box with a friend, and get 5 of each one.
Sure.
Each person gets 5. Super, super awesome cigar. Well, you're a big fan of this blend too.
Oh yeah, that's a great blend.
And now, did you smoke recently the 2006s or 7s?
The sevens.
Yeah, it was just awesome, dude.
Yeah, since I've kind of been collaborating with you guys, I've really been opened up to a lot of these Fuente blends, and that's just a real. You had given me that one. It's a real special blend.
Absolutely. Well, back over to you.
So on my way back from Rhode Island, I drove back, and I ended up in Maryland on Sunday at W. Curtis Draper in Bethesda, and it just so happened that Pete Johnson was in town the night before for an event. And he was there because he was providing Draper's 127th anniversary cigar. So they've been in this kind of like with Federal. They're doing these limited annual releases. And they got one this year called the WCD, W. Curtis Draper 127 Tatuaje Limited Edition. All right. Best way to say this, it's a monster-sized cigar. So if you look at it, it looks like it could easily be a monster.
Is this the one you texted me a picture of, Will?
Yeah, there's a picture of it there. Yeah. It's a 7 5/8 by 52 with an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and filler. And I gotta say this was first of all, if you look at the band, okay, it's got that Tatuaje exclusive band on it, that red, white with the green stripe. When you see those bands, that usually is a signal to me that these cigars aren't going to be around much. Pete typically, this is me, when I've seen these, he put this on the Mexican Experiment. He put these on the Little Boris's. I think he did it on a couple of Federals. They tend to go away. So this was a limited run that was done for Draper's, and I grabbed the box. And the other thing just noteworthy of the box, it's foil. It's foil pack, so I'm assuming it's a wet pack in there as well. So this is a fantastic cigar, and Pete can do great things with Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. There's just some great sweetness in this cigar, especially on the front end. You get some nice sweetness, that natural tobacco sweetness, a little bit of that raw sugarcane, earth, chocolate. It almost reminded me of points that I almost thought I was smoking salted caramel. It was that good early on. The second half of the cigar settles more into more of a traditional natural tobacco sweetness, but there's plenty of earth and pepper in there. It's not a power bomb by strength. It's in that medium range, but the flavors are like medium to full bodied. I had it as a box-worthy cigar, and I think it could go up. I think these cigars are fine, but I think there's more aging potential. You guys have some of these coming your way, so I'm really excited about this cigar. I hope this isn't the only time we'll see it. I kind of say I wish he would have did this in the Monster series. It's a great cigar.
And this is the Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Will?
No, Habano.
Ecuadorian Habano.
Yeah, but he used that same band on the Mexican Experiment.
Yes. Which
was like a one-time run.
Yeah.
So when I see that band, it's kind of saying to me, these cigars aren't going to be around long.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark Jr., over to you.
I smoked the Pura Sol Perfecto. I also smoked the Robusto, too. I'll touch on both of them. The Perfecto is a 7 by 52 Perfecto, and the Robusto is a 5 by 50. They're Nicaraguan Puros, and Robert doesn't really delve too much into what the specifics are, just that it's a Nicaraguan Habano. And this was actually a part of my admission into Mr. J. Havana's event on Monday. And this cigar, I actually reviewed a Puro Sol Robusto previously, and this was when it first came out. And I thought it was, and honestly, I said it was an Angler at the time. I think these cigars have gotten better over time. They've sort of gained their own flavor profile now. They've sort of gained their own identity, for lack of, to say it better. It was.
You got to sit the event.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yep, I had. It was slightly spicy. It had some earth. It had a nice slight sweetness. It was a overall unique flavor profile, despite that rather generic description. Of the two, I like the Robusto better. I'd say they're both a 5er, but for my flavor profile, the Vitola, the Robusto performed a little better.
Guys, help me out with this one. I smoked a Tatuaje 10th anniversary. I want to say it was the Lonsdale. And did they make the Lonsdale in the regular Cazadores?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They just put the 10th anniversary band on that one.
All of those
It
sizes
wasn't-
are the sizes from the
Except for the Bel Ancre and something else.
Bon Chasseur.
The Bon Chasseur and the Grand Chasseur.
What's the
Those
Bon
three are
Chasseur?
new sizes.
It's like a Robusto Gordo. It's
A
like
Robusto Gordo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the 10th anniversary Lonsdale. And, man, what a fantastic cigar. It's unbelievable what he's done with this blend. And I've smoked a ton of the regular Cazador line that, we call it the brown label.
I think they called that the Havana Cazadores.
Havana Cazadores. Yeah, I think you're
it's
right.
the name of the Vitola, yeah.
It's just an awesome smoke. What a crisp flavor profile. Well balanced, nice spice. It had everything going for it. It wasn't overly, it wasn't overpowering. Maybe not something I'd smoke first thing in the morning, with coffee. It had a little bit of punch to it.
Oh, man up, dude.
Yeah, maybe I should man up and smoke with coffee because I tell you what, it would go fantastic with a cup of coffee. It was just an awesome smoke. I mean, it's interesting. I'll rate this as box worthy, right? I'm just going to put it out there. This smoke is box worthy, but there are so many other sizes in this line, both the regular Cazador and the 10th anniversary. Man, I don't know if there's enough space in my humidor to have a box of all these cigars. It was just an incredible smoke. Can't say enough things about this. Good things about this 10th anniversary blend. Have you guys had this particular size?
Yeah.
I have, yeah. It's
special,
Stogie
right?
Santa's favorite, as a matter of fact.
I'm actually smoking a Noella in the non-10th anniversary that Stogie Santa gave me.
Oh yeah, I think
And
those
I just lit this up now. It's fantastic.
those are
That
stinky
thing's
old.
like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, dude, that's
I
like
know,
from
and
2008
yeah.
or 6 or something. Yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
I like the Bel Ancres. I bought a box of those. In fact, I smoked one of those. So I did 2 trips this week, to and from Boston in the car, and I took the car that you can smoke in my family. Obviously, if I'm going to be spending an hour in the car, there's going to be cigars burned, and I smoked one of those on my trip as well. And the Bel Ancre is just freaking awesome too, and I'm super happy with my box purchase of one of those. So,
I bought a box of the Noeas, and I think they're fantastic.
And
that's
it's
my
fun.
favorite of them, so that's why I bought a box.
And it's fun. We talk about a lot of different lines that are box worthy, and to me, these Tatuaje lines, both in the regular brown label and the Reserva, most of those sizes to me are just sheer box worthiness right there.
Yeah, without a doubt, dude.
And they're not overly expensive either.
No. They're
So-
certainly not cheap, but they're not,
Right.
they're in the affordable range.
It's one of those things that kind of embodies a box worthy cigar for me.
Agreed.
Will, back to you.
I'm going to shock you guys. I'm going to talk about a Cuban.
No! Get out! Holy crap, it's a good thing I'm sitting down.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to do, I knew you had a rough week, and I didn't want to kind of, but I figured I'd save it. Yep.
Dropping the
I smoked a
bomb
Cuban
on
too.
us.
And this one was courtesy of Mark Jr. So Mark Jr., it was great seeing you guys last week, and we were at Havana Cigar Club, and Mark Jr. handed me an H. Upmann Magnum 46, and my palate was absolutely shot. So I didn't light it up then, but I couldn't wait to light this up until I got home. It's got the old brown and white H. Upmann band on it. So that, I believe, is telling me it's around the 2006. I think it's when they changed the bands.
That sounds about right for
About
how
right.
old those are.
From
yeah.
Mark Jr.'s collection, you're about right.
I mean, and this cigar is, and I've always loved. I mean, I do smoke Cubans. Prior to what people thinking, the H. Upmann Magnum is actually one of my favorites, but I had never had one this old. And this is just, I love this cigar. It was a mix of nut, herbs, had a subtle white pepper spice to it, a little natural tobacco sweetness. It aged, so it's not going to have a lot of strength. I'd say it was about a mild to medium in strength and about a medium body cigar. But a real special cigar, box worthy all the way. And I said, if you come across these, especially with these old bands, and I'm going to trust that, I mean, this is a legit Habanos here. And I'm not saying I'm great at spotting fakes, but I know Mark Jr. And he, this is the real deal. So thank you, Mark, because I really enjoyed this cigar a lot.
Yeah, I came from a legitimate source.
Absolutely.
Yep, I bet I know where. So,
Mark Jr., back to you.
I smoked the Avo 88 limited edition 2014. So since we're talking about cigars we gave each other, right? This one Coop gave to me, and it's from one of the sign boxes. Is it not? Is it not, Coop?
yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned that for one reason only. I've heard from some people around that they've gotten these and they were young and they were, not quite ready. So this one was far from that, to be honest with you. It's a 6x52 Bellicoso. It's the Yamasa wrapper, which Davidoff has been using on some of their limited editions. If I'm not, am I correct in that, Coop?
It's the Yamasa wrapper. Yep. It's a Dominican Puro, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, but don't they? They're using those a lot on their limiteds right now, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep, they are.
It's Olor and Criollo Dominican binder and various Dominican tobaccos in the filler. There's a total of 8,888 boxes of 16, resulting in roughly 142,000 cigars. Now, Coop, I think there was 888 signed ones. Is that right? Yeah, and then there was 8,000 unsigned ones.
Yep.
This was a very good cigar, as a matter of fact. So, if you have found the ones that are young, stop smoking them and just hold on to them for a little while, because this thing's going to round out nice. Had a nice slight pepper, some cocoa, a nice subtle sweetness to it. I think this cigar's worth a box split, in my opinion. It was very, very well balanced and very nicely. It was nice and, for lack of a better term, it was just a very pleasant smoking experience. From the beginning, it burned perfectly. The draw was perfect. The flavors again were very balanced. I would definitely recommend this. This is probably their best one since the 85th, I think. So
and you say one thing that I was really impressed with was the Bellicoso on that. I'm not a Bellicoso guy, but that Bellicoso, it just drew and burned. I think it really worked in the Bellicoso format.
I don't have an opinion either way on Bellicosos. They're very hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
So, it's typically not a Vitola that I reach for regularly, but it doesn't stop me from reaching for it if someone tells me that the Bellicoso is awesome. If that makes sense to you. It's just but so that didn't really strike me either way, but it was just, I thought, a very, very good cigar.
I smoked EP Carrillo short run. I'm pretty sure this was from the original batch of short runs that I have. I still need to get you one of these, Mark Jr. I owe you one of these. Next time you come over to the house, remind me.
You don't owe me anything, Paul, but I'd be happy to take that off your hands.
Please smoke one. It's interesting. It definitely, again, it falls into kind of that citrus section of the flavor wheel.
Mm-hmm.
It does that extremely well. It's not an overpowering citrus. It has that kind of hint of citrus, and these cigars are aging so well. And I can't stress enough how awesome the short runs are and how awesome that they're aging.
All of them are.
All of them. It's unbelievable how well these aged. It was so smooth. It was my first cigar of the day today, and again, it was one I wish I had not had to work while I was smoking it, kind of thing. It was just fantastic. So smooth, so flavorful. Just an unbelievable cigar. Another one that was it blew me away. Today I had it was an unbelievable cigar day, right? It blew me away, dude.
Sounds
me away.
like
That's
you
a 10.
deserved
That's a 10.
This is I think this came out in 2010. I bought a box of the original short runs in the Toro size, 6x52 Toro size, and I smoked a ton of them. And I had to say in the beginning they were kind of okay. In the beginning they were kind of a five or plus, and they're aging into this fight Chuck Norris for them, which I think is where my rating would be for this one. In all seriousness.
I would agree.
I have to admit, just a note on the aging potential of these short runs. I smoked one of the 2012 Exquisitos, right, the Robusto size. And that has an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper on it, which you wouldn't typically associate with a ton of aging potential. We all know that that's not your average Connecticut, but I have to say that thing is aging fantastically as well.
Oh, yeah.
It still has a little bit of spice and it still has some strength to it. So, you know, I know that the inch is not a lot of people's favorites this year in terms of the short run, but the other four have just been home runs.
The inch short run to me is not as much in my wheelhouse as the other short runs are. I will say this, though. The inch short run for the 60 ring is extremely flavorful.
I agree.
It's unbelievable how much flavor he packed in that 60 ring.
It's up against some good competition in that line.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's such a good line.
Will, back to you. Or is it me?
It's you.
Crap. It was so much easier to keep the order when you were here,
you just
Will.
went. I'm sorry. Will, it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
It's Will?
Just
just talked about
it's
the
Will.
short run.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Will.
I thought you would. Never mind.
Yeah.
Nah.
We just had Gary on, and one of the brands he distributes is 1502, which I think is we didn't really get a chance to get into all the brands because we had such great conversation.
Well, there's so many too. Yeah.
We do have Enrique Sanchez on in a few weeks to talk deep into 1502. So the 1502 Emerald, I think we've been talking about. A few of us have been smoking those. I managed to get a pre-release of the Lancero, and this is the 1502 Emerald is a mostly Nicaraguan blend. It has some Mexican filler in there, but the Lancero is like the rest of the line, box pressed. So it's one of the box pressed Lanceros. You don't see a lot of them out there. I could probably list them on one hand, the ones, but you just don't see a lot of box pressed Lanceros. This is a 7x38, so it's the box press is a little smaller. The other thing to note about the 1502 line is if you look at, I put a picture in there. Enrique Sanchez does something which is called a cigar lock on his cigars, and he didn't do it on the Perfecto, obviously, but what you'll see is the foot is partially covered. So it's not totally covered. It kind of just drapes around like an outer circle there. Sometimes I think people go too gaga over Lanceros. I think Lanceros are either great or not. It's just like any other Vitola. The good news is this is a really good cigar, and the Lancero is going to make a lot of people happy with this. The flavors are pretty consistent with the rest of the 1502 line. Get that coffee, chocolate, little natural tobacco. I got some citrus in there, and the pepper also had a little bit of a cedar quality to it. Everyone's telling me this is a milder cigar. I think it's more in that medium to just going into the medium plus range. I've always just felt. I've heard a lot of people say it's more that mild to medium. For whatever reason, it's just hit me a little stronger there, but that's just maybe me. I held off on a rating for it because it was a pre-release, but I'd say in the ballpark, it's probably going to come in between a fiver and a box split. If you like 1502s and you like Lanceros, you're really going to like this cigar.
I enjoyed the double Perfecto that I talked about last
That's the
week.
one I liked the best, actually, was that double Perfecto.
Interesting. I'm glad we had the chance to review all those 1502 sticks. They were kindly sent to us.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear everyone smoked them and liked them. I mean, there was not one stick in that whole pack that we liked all of them.
It's an interesting boutique.
Yeah, and he's a real Gary was talking about passion, and when Enrique's on, he epitomizes that passion.
Yeah. There's a lot of cigar brands out there, and it's when a boutique cigar manufacturer sends us all cigars and we all like them, that doesn't always happen, right?
No, certainly not.
It's important to point out. So
this cigar is flying off the shelves. The 1502 line is flying off the shelves in Charlotte. It is a very popular line down here.
So if you get a chance to try them, you definitely should. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
So I smoked Will gifted us the Federal cigar. Do these come from, the name is escaping me at the moment, from Federal Cigar?
Yeah, well, Rick did send me some,
thank you.
And I smoked through them all, but I went and bought some more.
Okay.
So, I guess it's the best way, but Rick did give some to us, but I was...
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Will. This is the one that was made by Oliva, which we talked about on the show, which was sitting around their warehouse. He bought it, put the Federal Cigar bands on it. Absolutely fantastic cigar, box worthy. It's tough for me to point out a cigar that Rick hasn't put up on that Federal cigar site that's been an anniversary cigar for Federal that isn't box worthy, especially as the majority of them are boxes of 10 and they're reasonably priced. That's a site to check and really add something different into your wheelhouse. This was an incredibly smooth cigar. It was very flavorful, very easy to smoke. Great job. I loved it. Box worthy all day long. And what was your assessment of this Federal cigar? This was the 100 or something anniversary.
93rd.
93rd anniversary.
Yeah, I had it as a Chuck Norris level.
Mm.
It's definitely one of the best cigars I've had from a lever in a while. It definitely, I can't say how, the tobaccos they say are old. It definitely didn't need aging in my book, but the smoothness was really the key thing I got off that cigar. It was incredibly smooth.
Yeah, you could tell it was aged, right?
Yeah.
Was this a Cameroon wrapper?
No, it's a Ecuadorian sun-grown.
It had that sweetness. It had that sweetness you get from a Cameroon wrapper, and I could have sworn it was Cameroon. That's how special this cigar is.
Mine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to try mine this week.
Yeah,
it's a good cigar.
I think once Stogie Geeks and our listeners try one, you're gonna want to go buy a box.
Yeah, I think they still got them. I think they're still for sale on the Federal
Last
website.
I checked, they did. That was a couple weeks ago, though. But
yeah.
Mark Jr., over to you.
I think it's actually Will. No, actually, Will just talked about 1502.
It's you.
It's me.
I didn't mess up that time.
It's me. I smoked the Hechicera Corona Prensado. This is the one you gave me, Paul.
Yeah.
When we were over at.
I'm so anxious to hear your assessment of it. Actually, you told me your assessment already, so.
It's a 5.5 by 44 box press Corona Nicaraguan Puro. This again is another one of the CLE brands,
mm-hmm.
and it's a Nicaraguan Puro that you would not necessarily associate with a flavor profile from a Nicaraguan Puro.
No, you're not going to pin that as a Nicaraguan Puro for sure. In a good way.
Yeah, no, it had this. It was a pretty mild cigar. It's called mild plus, right? Certainly not medium bodied, in my opinion. I don't know. What did you think?
It's like a notch above mild.
That's what I'm saying. Like mild plus, right?
Mild to medium, yep.
It's not in that you take all those Ecuadorian Connecticut's that dub themselves as mild. It's a notch above that.
Yeah. Both in flavor and in strength.
Flavor, well, go ahead.
I thought it had a very unique flavor profile. Overall, it sort of had like a bready quality to it, right? It sort of had that like toasted grain, slight sweet.
It's like a bready sweetness.
Yeah, that's the best way for me. It's like a baked sweetness. It's crazy to say that, but it's, dude, I'm really impressed. I think that this is a cigar that I would reach to regularly early on in the day, which I'm beginning to have more and more of those experiences where I can smoke a cigar early with some coffee.
Yeah.
This would be a friggin' home run for me with a cup of coffee in the morning. It's got a perfect amount of like flavor, but it's not. There's no real nicotine strength to it. And, and I think that that's a perfect, early morning smoke is when you can say that about it.
You can smoke these any time of day.
I agree.
I find myself lighting them up in the afternoon. So I bought a box of these. So after I actually, when we interviewed Grace, you can go to our YouTube channel or a blip.tv channel. You can view our interview with Grace Sotolongo, who is the person behind this cigar. And not only is she just a super, super nice person, she made a fantastic cigar. And I reach for these all the time now. I bought a box, and I had her sign it. And I tell you what, I find myself reaching because it's different. Not only is it a good, flavorful cigar, right? It's different, right? It has
its
different
own thing. Yeah.
It's its own thing. It has a different flavor profile, and that can be increasingly more difficult to find in today's market. And then you couple that with the price point that these are at. It's not an expensive cigar.
$7, right?
You can buy a box. They're $7-8 a cigar. Maybe depending on where you live and what have you. And it's one of those box purchases where a box of 10 I'm starting to run short on. I'm starting to need another box because I just keep smoking these because they're so smokable. You smoke them any time of the day, and that cigar first thing in the morning with coffee is something I'm reaching to more and more, above and beyond really any other Ecuador in Connecticut.
Hey, you've definitely turned me on to it. I think it's a good, very good cigar.
Yeah, and I'm starting to give them to people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, like this is like my new like go-to. I haven't eaten that much, or I want something flavorful, but it's not going to overpower me with nicotine kind of smoke."
Yep.
Will,
What was your rating on that again?
These are box worthy for sure.
Wow.
I said fiver, but
it's tough to say what these are going to do with age because they don't stay around long in my humidor.
I say fiver only because for me it would be a fiver because the majority of my smokes don't fit that time frame.
Yeah, I'm recommending box worthy because I think even with age these are going to just get even better.
I talked to one on the show when it first came out. I had it as a try one, but they've definitely upped into the fiver to box split range now.
I think when they first came out,
the time even done some time to it already.
Yeah, I think that the 3 to 6 month period that they've been in the shop has done the cigar wonders,
Yep.
which speaks to me that the aging potential is huge on this cigar. If they've gotten so much better in that 3 to 6 month time frame, it wasn't a box worthy when I first smoked it, but I tell you what, that little Corona size is to me box worthy all day long. Will, back to you.
So, Paul, you were kind enough to give me a Dirty Rat.
And
that's
what Mark Jr. is smoking right now. Smoking the Nueva Reserva, which we know is
that's what awesome. I'm smoking. I'm smoking the regular Nueva.
Yeah, the regular Nueva. Yep.
We do things right around here.
Yeah.
The Dirty Rat's I think everyone knows the Dirty Rat. The interesting thing is the Dirty Rat's really become one of those iconic cigars right now by Drew Estate. It's now one of those cigars. It's getting hard to get. They don't ship a lot of boxes to retailers. When it first came out, I was very indifferent on this cigar. I kind of thought it might be a miss for Drew Estate, but I think it's over time been one of their best aging potential cigars. And this one didn't let me down. This one was, all the things you come to expect with a Dirty Rat. It had that mocha, the earth, and the pepper. It's still got a lot of strengths, that Dirty Rat. By the second third, it's kicked up into full strength and full bodied. So it's still a box-worthy cigar in my book. And I hadn't smoked a Dirty Rat maybe in about a year. So it was really good to smoke it again and kind of revisit that. The last time I smoked it was at Drew Estate Cigar Safari. So I was glad to smoke it again.
Nice. Yeah, the Dirty Rat's one of the ones that I didn't kind of buy into all the hype and didn't rate it as high as everyone else. But as I smoke more of them and they kind of age in my humidor, I'm starting to grok what everyone's talking about. I really like smoking them now.
I really thought it was a colossal miss when it came out, but then I kind of went back to it several times, and it did get a lot better.
I did always like these cigars, to be honest with you. I feel like the new ones are a little different. They're not quite as strong as the original ones, I think. But
interesting.
This is sort of I've said a few times on here, there's a few cigars that sort of have like a sentimental thing to me, and this is one of them. It's the last cigar I ever got to smoke with my father-in-law, so sort of. I sort of relish the opportunity to smoke one every chance I get. So.
I smoked the Fuente Don Carlos, and I smoked a couple of different Don Carlos cigars. One was the Double Robusto, and one was the Bellicoso. And I know there's numbers associated with them.
I think the Bellicoso is number 2, just like any Cuban.
I greatly prefer the Bellicoso to a lot of the other size of regular production Don Carlos cigars that are out there. The Double Robusto is good, but whatever it is they do with this Bellicoso, and I don't know if it's because I've smoked some aged ones too. This one was not super aged. It actually was very much damaged, as you will see from the picture. I dropped it, actually. It's no fault of Fuente, right? I dropped this one. But it was my first cigar of the day one day, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to smoke a Don Carlos. I just kind of had that itch to smoke this blend, and I'm like, I'm going to smoke this anyway. And I didn't even try and repair it. I just clipped it and smoked it. And it smoked great, to their credit, right? you know you're smoking a great cigar that they've paid attention to the construction when it's got some cracks in the wrapper at the foot and it still smokes okay. It's just got a wonderful flavor profile. It's not. I wouldn't say it's so much citrus as it is. It's got a little bit of that herbal component to it. I would put it more in the herbal. Creamy, yeah. A little bit of herbalness with that little bit of creaminess. And again, it's one of those ones I'm reaching for kind of in place of some of my Ecuadorian Connecticut's in the morning. I really like this blend and appreciating it that first thing in the morning kind of smoke.
I think it's an exemplary Cameroon cigar.
Yeah.
I think it is
absolutely.
like one of the examples of like what a Cameroon can be.
Yep.
I agree.
To me, the size that really is the belle of the ball, as you say, Mark Jr., in this blend is that Bellicoso. And again, my view's probably tainted because Stogies Santa kind of broke out those Bellicosos that were just like super aged. Cellophane was ridiculously yellow. But this one was even newer, and the Bellicoso for me is something that I'll reach for. You know, give me that and the Hechicera in the morning now, and that's kind of where I'm leaning.
I like the Magnum R Rosado too.
Magnum R Rosado is really
good
good too.
Morning smoke.
Yep. So check out that Don Carlos, and you can find these Don Carloses everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Retail they carry a little higher price tag, but you can do some shopping around and you can get them in a more reasonable price. So
Sure.
I encourage our listeners to do that. Will, back to you, my friend.
My list is exhausted.
Already?
All right. Well, I had a few days where my palate was shot after Rhode Island.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Mark Jr., what else you got?
I'm done too, man.
You're done in your list. So I smoked a ton of cigars. I'm back and forth to Boston. And I want to say I smoked what was the torpedo in the Alec Bradley Fine and Rare?
12. 2012.
Was it the 12?
Yeah.
That was really good for the first half, and then it kind of fizzled out on me. I mean, the first half of that cigar was out of this world. And the second half, not so good. So I'm kind of having a mixed experience going back to smoking some of those cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some of those at the fire sale that happened at Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop. Also from that sale was that Viaje, the Late Harvest. It's a Robusto, but it's a Bellicoso. It's short. It looks like a Robusto, but it tapers off into a Bellicoso.
No. That's two different cigars.
That's Late Harvest.
Yes.
No, that's
Oh.
Late
Yeah.
Harvest. That was a really good cigar as well. I'm trying to think what else I smoked in the car. Oh, so when we were driving to Boston, I was actually with expert Steve, and we were driving to Boston. And it was, not early in the morning, but it was morning. It was 9, 10 o'clock in the morning when we left for Boston. No, it was 9. And so we both get in the car, and I'm like, Steve, I took this car so we could smoke. I'm like, we're gonna burn it up, and we're going to Boston. And I'm like, it's Saturday morning. It's a beautiful morning. We're gonna have cigars. And I'm like, you're gonna smoke something good because you took your whole Saturday out of your schedule to come with me to go to a conference in Boston. We weren't there for Stogie Geeks, but we were there for Security Weekly, and we. So I lit up the Fuente 858 Sungrown, and it has that cedar sleeve on it, right? So we get in the car and we start driving. You know, we stop at Starbucks, we get some coffee, we're good to go. We're in the car, we're driving. It's Stogie Geeks road trip time, right? And I pull the cedar off of the 858, and the cigar is just spotted in plume. I don't know why, but it's spotted in plume. Steve's snapping pictures of it. And it was awesome. It was an awesome cigar. I smoked that thing the whole way going to Boston and enjoyed every second of it with my coffee in the car, and it made the ride all that more enjoyable. And I'm like, Steve, you took your Saturday out. I'm like, you're going to smoke something special. And I gave Steve the Tatawahe Corona Gorda Black Label jar release. And he's like, oh, my God, this cigar's fantastic. Now, I don't recommend that you smoke one of those maybe in the car because it's very ashy. Right? The black label is kind of ashy, right? The ash kind of falls everywhere. I'm like, dude, I don't care, whatever. It's the cigar smoking car. Dude, enjoy your cigar. And he enjoyed every minute of it. So we had a great ride to Boston in the morning. But that 858 Sungrown was just so awesome.
Yeah,
it
those
was
are really good.
Really
cigars.
good, really smooth, really flavorful. Pairs well with coffee. Great smoking cigar. That's pretty much it for my list. I probably smoked a couple cigars in our travels to and from Boston, but I smoked a Tatuaje Black Label, the jar release. I smoked those things like candy, dude. Oh my god,
I have a lot.
those are so good.
I have a lot of those.
I just can't stop smoking those still.
It's a good thing I have a lot of them. Because
It's a good thing I have a lot of them too, because I smoke them like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Will, was there anything else you want to talk about that you smoked recently?
I just want to comment on what I smoked when I came up into Rhode Island. Was what you handed me. The first cigar was that Davidoff Colorado, the Colorado Cup, the Perfecto.
Yeah.
Short Perfecto.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I had not had it in that Tola before.
That's on my short list of favorite cigars ever.
Yeah, I mean that that's a bell of the ball. I mean that line.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt.
I mean,
I can't agree
so
with you more.
good. It was so good. I got it was just that's
It's
a very special
rare.
cigar.
It's almost rare you find a cigar like that, right? It's so unique. It's so good. It's limited. It's from Davidoff and carries a pretty high price tag, but not exorbitant, right? You can get those for what?
10,
16.
10.50, I
no,
think.
are they 10 to 12?
For the short Perfectos.
For the short
Yeah, they're like
Perfectos?
10.50, I think.
But
it's not a big cigar. I mean, that's
there's
the
one
cigar
right
we're
there.
talking about.
Yeah, I should have smoked that one.
Real enjoyable. Just the Perfecto, just the way it tapers, you really get those flavors off that.
It's a unique Perfecto too. It's not a shape you see everywhere.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's like a 2-box purchase, I think.
Oh, without a doubt.
For all the listeners out there that are, the cigar geek in you, if you can find those, buy 2 boxes. Because I tell you what, you buy 1 box and you're going to smoke 5 and go, crap, I only have 5 left. That's a 2-box purchase. If we can come up with a new rating, like 2-box purchase, that would be it.
4.25 maybe.
Yeah, that would be it. That would be it. Right
Hey,
there.
wouldn't that be Chuck Norris?
I guess it would be Chuck Norris. I don't know.
It would be.
So.
Yeah, buy those up.
I'd say that's Chuck Norris or even Oasis. To be honest with you, that's a really, really fantastic cigar in my opinion.
And they just keep getting better in that Colorado Short Perfecto.
Yeah, I mean that's just I've always liked the Colorado Claro blend, but that Short Perfecto just put it over the top for me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Will, you want to update us on contests?
Yes. So first, we had actually the largest contest response ever.
Really? Did we surpass that? Which one was that now?
This was the Coots. When we had Gabriel Alvarez from Coots on, he offered up a box of Miro Special Edition Lanceros, which I think you guys have a few of them, and maybe they're in your locker, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had 38 entries. It was a large number. The winner of it's Patrick Mulcahy. So I picked the winner at random using random.org, and he was the 14th person to submit, and he is the winner. I've confirmed Gabriel will be sending out that to Patrick, and I'll get Patrick's information and pass it on to Gabriel. So that's a 10-count box. Like I said, that's a limited edition cigar that they only made 500 boxes of. And that was a cigar made originally for Gabriel. He was talking about it on the show, and he ended up just releasing it. So really, thanks to everyone. Now, for that contest, everyone had email selections for favorite Lanceros. And I think we'll take some of those. I don't think we can go through 38 lists of Lanceros, but I think we'll put something together, some feedback on them.
Yeah.
I think we'll do a Lancero show, and we'll go
we
through some of those.
need a segment on that.
Yeah, we need to do a whole Lancero segment, and we can go through some of them, but we won't get to all of them, but 38. But that was some response we had to that contest. So thanks to everyone who did that. We have a 5-pack of Espinosa cigars, courtesy of Espinosa Cigars. All you have to do is find the Espinosa cigar that made my Cigar of the Year countdown and email the link to the show at StogieGeeks.com. I will pick a winner next week on that.
Nice.
So, as far as upcoming shows, tomorrow Paul and I are doing a Stogie Geeks Extra with Ariel Ditkowitz of La Serena. So she'll be in the studio. That's not going to be a live show, right, Paul? We're going to tape that.
Yeah, we're going to tape that.
But we'll have that interview out there.
When is this, guys?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. She'll
Can you be here?
live in the studio.
I think it's at 11 tomorrow.
11 o'clock.
I don't think so. I'll do my best.
Yeah, it's tough. It's during the day, but yeah, thank you for setting that up, Will.
No problem. Ariel happened to be in Charlotte last week when I was in Rhode Island, and it's kind of weird. Now she's going to be in Rhode Island this week. It's a good story. La Serena's had some changes with the company, and Ariel's got some good blends there. So be sure to check that out. We'll post that video once it's recorded. This is similar to what we did with Grace, who came into the studio as well. Next Thursday, Alex Goldman of Royal Gold Cigars. We're real special to get him. I mean, he hasn't done a lot of interviews. The Royal Gold Cigar story is an interesting story, and
which one is Royal Gold, Will?
They are the premium line by Swisher.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And don't think Swisher. I've smoked these cigars, and we're going to be smoking the Drew Estate Nirvana next week, which is the cigar by Royal Gold made by Drew Estate. So
nice.
That's gotten some good feedback from some folks down here in Charlotte who are big Drew Estate fans. So I'm very curious to smoke that. We're taking the 24th off, and then on May 1st, we have Enrique Sanchez from 1502 Cigars. And on May 15th, Phil Zengi will be in the studio. So we have a lot coming up in the next few weeks.
Nice. Very good. Well, thanks, everyone, for listening to the Stogie Geek Show. Don't forget to join the CRA, Cigar Rights of America. Protect our rights to smoke premium handmade cigars. And again, thanks, everyone, for listening. And we will see you all in the next episode of the Stogie Geek Show.